So welcome back to this tutorial about Docker containers. So in the last tutorial, we talked about Docker images, how they are built and how we can build them. So what layers they have and what is each layer doing. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the containers that we are going to build on top of the images that we have, but each container has also some specifications and some other parts. As in the last tutorial, we talked about this scenario that we have a Docker file and we can use some instructions, some code, some commands in this Docker file, which will then we can using the Docker commands to build a Docker image based on the instruction that is in the Docker file. After we have an image, so we can then use Docker run commands to execute containers to start a container or run a container from the image that we have already on our local systems. So the same Docker container is also lightweight, standalone, and executable package. So it's running and has everything it needs required to run an application. Each container is isolated from each other and has nothing to do with other containers, and they can just run the application that they have in the. They took it from the image which is exist in the image and image layers. One of the image layers is the application layer. So the application layer will be now properly running on the container. So if you think the complete scenarios that what offers this containers, like they are isolated, as I said before, each container is isolated and had its own libraries, base image, application code, and anything else that you have specified in a Docker image on the Docker file. So if one image something happens to the sorry if the one containers happens something, so it's not affecting the other containers because they will be running. So there could be some scenarios that the containers talk with each other. So that will be like the case if one container asking for some data from the another container, and the container which is responding is not there anymore or not running, so then can it affect also both containers. But if containers built on the same applications, same container image, then uh, can run some of them, and some of them maybe goes down because of the less resources or other uh, errors that can happen. But the rest of the containers will run properly without any uh, error or downtime. So other thing is like portability. You can easily carry or take one image from one system and take it to somewhere else and start it and it work perfectly same as it's running on your system, or if it's running on a server in the cloud or somewhere else. It doesn't matter where it runs because it will be using the same image layers that you have specified in the Docker files, which then you created a build and using the build commands, you created an image. So that image could be carried to somewhere else and then create a new container on top of that, and it will be running properly without any error. And the next thing is lightweight. Yeah, of course, it's really less and small. If you use the multi-layer Docker file, so then you can also make it more less. So the size will be really less, and you don't have to store you don't require a storage that you have to store a lot of images and stuff. And mostly nowadays, you can just use the remote repositories, which is provided by Microsoft, Google, and also Amazon. And also there's a Docker Hub that you can just store your images and just you share through that. Fast startup times, yeah, of course, it's really fast. An isolated place for application to run. It's much better than like creating a virtual machine and starting that, and then run your application on top of that and use it. So if you use container, it will be really fast, and it will also less you use less resources from your system and don't need so much resources like in a virtual machine requires. So to see this um, benefits and how we can interact with the containers, let's open our terminals and interact with the containers and run them, stop them, and do some other actions with them.